One, you're on the air.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started with the agenda this evening, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, as we always do. So could everybody please rise? And Councilman Borelli, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a moment just to remember all our servicemen that are not home with their families during these holidays. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Okay, once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for attending this meeting tonight, and thank you all at home for watching. Today's date is Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. We're meeting on a Tuesday when we normally meet on Wednesdays because of the impending snowstorm that is due to arrive tomorrow afternoon sometime. So we wanted to get this meeting in, so that's why we moved it up one day. So tonight's voting meeting agenda is a voting meeting. There's 16 agenda items that we're going to be covering this evening. So for the record, all town board members are present with us this evening, as is our town clerk, Ann Spofford. Ann, thanks for being here. Greg Falchetti, our Carmel Town Council, is all the way over to my left. And we have several members of our police force here with us tonight as well, because resolution number 1 will be making a provisional appointment to the chief of police in the town of Carmel Police Department. So that's some good positive news that we have on the agenda tonight, that we will be finally appointing a new chief, successor to Chief Mike Kazari. And just to give you a little bit of background, Chief Kazari retired on July 31st of this year. The process began shortly after that when we announced that the position was going to be vacant. So we began our search for a successor to Chief Kazari. And when we put the advertisement out, we actually looked at internal and external candidates when we advertised it, and we received 12 letters of interest along with 12 resumes. And I will say that the resumes, quite a few of the resumes that we received were very impressive. Officers with a lot of experience in leadership and administration of their police forces where they're currently located at. Some of the officers were retired already, but we were impressed with the resumes that we did receive. So the board started interviews, I believe, in September. We started interviewing candidates, and we narrowed it down initially to 5 candidates that we were looking at. And so we had one round of interviews, and then in the second round of interviews, we narrowed it down to 3 candidates. And then we had one final round of interviews for the candidates. And I'm pleased to report that after the third round of interviews, the board selected Anthony Hoffman as the new police chief for the town of Carmel Police Department. Anthony's resume was extremely impressive as well, with a lot of experience, 22 years of law enforcement experience. Anthony started in 1998 in NYPD, and then he transferred over to the town of Mamaroneck 4 years later, where he rose to the rank of lieutenant of that department. And his command, he was the commanding officer of the patrol division up until we selected him as our chief of our department here in the town of Carmel. So let me just speak a little bit about Anthony Hoffman before we move on to actually reading the resolution. So again, he started in the city of New York in 1998. He left there in 2002 to become a police officer in the town of Mamaroneck. From 2002 to October of 2010, he was assigned to the patrol division, responsible for all aspects of police response, preliminary investigation, criminal incidents throughout the town. In 2010, Anthony Hoffman became promoted to sergeant in the town of Mamaroneck. His primary assignment was a patrol supervisor, department instructor in topics of firearms, active shooter response, CPR, AED, first aid, and tactical emergency casualty care. In May of 2018, Sergeant Hoffman was promoted to lieutenant in the town of Mamaroneck Police Department, and where he is the commanding officer of the patrol division, responsible for planning, staffing, budgeting, training, discipline, and direction of 30 police officers and supervisors in the patrol division. coordinated operations between emergency and other government agencies, local, county, and state, and assume the duties of Chief of Police in the Chief's absence. Conducts internal affairs investigations, Patrol Division personnel, receives training of the department, including the Patrol, Detective, Youth, and Administrative Divisions. Supervises Firearms Training Unit, supervisor instructor for all department firearms qualifications, responsible for budgeting, purchasing, maintenance of firearms-related equipment. So some of Anthony's education includes a Master's of Arts with honors for criminal justice from 2010 to 2014. Iona College, New Rochelle, Bachelor of Science, magna cum laude, criminal justice, 2003 to 2006. FBI Mid-Atlantic Law Enforcement Executive Development Seminar in Princeton, New Jersey. Selected to attend the FBI Mid-Atlantic Leads at Princeton University, the Regional FBI Command College for the Tri-State Area of Law Enforcement Executives. FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Association in Pennsylvania. Supervisor Leadership Institute 2016, Westchester County Police Department, Police Academy. Command Leadership 2016, Executive Leadership 2016. Safari Land Training Academy, Jacksonville, Florida. Use of Force Utilization Instructor Certification 2020. New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services, Albany, New York. Certified General Topics Instructor, Certified Firearms Instructor, completed course in police supervision. Certified Police Field Training, and Certified Basic Criminal Investigator 2003. So, as you can hear, Anthony Hoffman's resume is very impressive, and that's one of the reasons why we selected Anthony to be the Chief of Police for the Carmel Police Department. We did have other, as I said, we had other excellent candidates with very impressive resumes. So it was difficult towards the end of the interview process, the board would agree, of selecting a final candidate because we had such good quality candidates applying for this position. So a little bit about Anthony's background and why we selected him, and what we're going to do at this time, without further ado, I'm going to ask the Councilman Shannell. First, let me back up. We need to accept the town board minutes of November 18th and December 2nd, 2020. I need a motion to accept those. So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Councilman Shannell, all those in favor? Aye. All right, this time we're going to read the resolution making provisional appointment of police chief for the town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Shannell, would you read resolution number 1?
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby appoints Anthony Hoffman as chief of police in and for the town of Carmel, New York, effective January 4th, 2021, on a provisional basis in accordance with the New York State Civil Service Law and applicable state and local civil service rules and regulations. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, I'll second it also. Roll call vote, Ann?
Councilman Shannell.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
With pleasure.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, with pleasure. Motion carries 5-0 yeses. Congratulations, Anthony Hoffman. Chief Hoffman. Chief, you're coming to an excellent police force. Some of the men are here tonight with us for your support and to welcome you to the town. And I'm sure you're going to have a great career here as the chief of police because you have such excellent men and women working for you here in the town of Carmel. So we look forward to really great things from you and also from our police department as well. And I know they're going to have a good leader at the helm commanding the department, and I'm sure that the community is going to be pleased with our selection as well. So thank you so much for applying. And what we need to do now is I have to administer the oath of office to you. So if you come up to the podium.
Anthony, have your wife? Your wife, your dad? They should all come on. Come on down.
Okay. Anthony, so if you would stand over here. Sure. Mrs. Hoffman. Okay. I'm going to turn this way a little bit, so because I think he's going to be using that camera there. So. Okay, that's good. Right there, yeah. Okay, Dom, are we on? Okay. All right, so with your left hand on your Bible and raise your right hand, Anthony, repeat after me. I, Anthony Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the appointed position of Chief of Police
of the appointed position of Chief of Police
in and for the town of Carmel,
in and for the town of Carmel,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God. Congratulations. Best of luck, Anthony. Congratulations. Oh, okay. So, well, Bob, you want to get this? Mrs. Hoffman is going to be pinning a shield on. Congratulations, Chief. Yeah, congratulations.
Anthony.
Yeah? We're going to look at Andy. All right, we'll look that way.
All right. Closer together. Closer together. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Everybody look at Bob. All right. Congratulations. Okay. Thanks. Okay. All set. Thanks, Carmen. All right.
Congratulations, Anthony.
Good night.
Congratulations to the Hoffman family also.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
If you want to stay for the remainder of the meeting, you can. If not, if you like to leave now, you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good night.
That's
Thanks.
a smart family.
Thanks for being here. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yep. Good night. Good night. Okay. So the next resolution, number 2, is a resolution authorizing rejection of bids and authorizing re-advertisement for the bid. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read number 2, please?
Sure. Resolved that pursuant to the request of Lieutenant John Dearman, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby rejects all bids previously received for the purchase of police uniforms in fiscal year 2021 for the Town of Carmel Police Department, and be it further resolved that the Town Board authorizes Town Clerk Ann Spodford to re-advertise for bids in connection with the aforesaid purchase, and be it further resolved that the detailed specifications shall be furnished to the Town Clerk to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 3, is a resolution in support of Commission of Traffic Studies within the Town of Carmel. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 3?
Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Lieutenant John R. Dearman, hereby supports the commission of a study by New York State Department of Transportation for the purpose of establishing no parking zones on U.S. Route 6 in Mahopac on both the easterly and westerly side of the entrance of 566 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, premises located for a distance of 15 feet on either side of said entrance, and be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenny Schmidt is hereby authorized to transmit a copy of this resolution to the New York State Department of Transportation. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
And I just want to state something for the record, I'm sorry. But I thought I was fairly clear how I felt about this last week, about taking 2 spots out of downtown for a property owner so his own tenants won't park there. And I spoke to all the business owners across the street, and for the record, I own the building directly across the street with my late partner and my daughter. And to take 2 parking spots out, I went to all the neighbors over there. I'm speaking for everybody right now. I can't believe this is on the agenda. I can't believe we're asking for 2 parking spots to be removed to control a tenant's parker. And it's going to get approved. I'm not surprised that it's put on the agenda. But the owner of this property is who?
Where the no parking.
566 Route 6.
Carl
Who's
Albano.
Carl Albano, Putnam County Legislator. Okay, I vote no on behalf of myself and all the other business owners across the street.
Councilman,
This is for a study.
Yeah, I believe Councilor Fulchetti.
It's for a
put this
study, I
resolution on.
understand.
The agenda item was to suggest a study, or to request a study from DOT to determine whether or not they would be in favor of or permit you to even consider posting no parking there. So all this would do right now is transmit it to DOT for their action, which typically takes time that's measured in years and not weeks or months, something like this, and then you can make a determination based on their study when the time comes. There's nothing that I've been given in terms of a local law that you're considering attempting to pass at this point that's going to immediately prohibit
Does it make
it.
sense to do a study before we open our parking, municipal parking?
It's up to the board. It was on the agenda for that purpose last week on the work session. Typically, what I'll do is I'll prepare the work session items for consideration, and if they pass, they pass, and if they don't, they don't. And you certainly, you have a motion to second, you can vote it, you can withdraw it, you can do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah. I
For
mean,
purposes of the study.
ultimately, the town board would have to decide whether or not they'd even want to consider moving forward with this. So the study is the study. I mean, we don't even have to necessarily do the study as far as I'm concerned. But, it was put on the agenda for Lieutenant Dearman presented it last week, on behalf of the Traffic Safety Committee. So, I mean, the board doesn't have to act on it. And I don't disagree with what Councilman Borelli's saying. I happen to agree with him, but there's not much parking in downtown Mahopac as it is. And certainly the municipal parking lot, when that's built out, is going to handle some of the overflow of traffic. So I think this is a long ways off if it ever happens. So we could either go forward with the study, or we could just end it right here and not even have the study.
We could just move to table it.
Just
All right,
table it.
You got a motion and a second, so somebody either got to vote it or withdraw the
Yeah,
motion.
we could table it, all right, and that's what I recommend that we do. Let's table it until such time that we start moving forward with the planning of the build-out of the municipal parking lot, and then we can look at it further, okay? Well, for the purposes of the study, I mean, we can certainly,
But
move
Kenny,
to table it.
but something has to be done, because the acting officer came to us that there is an issue. I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do. What I'm not fine with is somebody pulling out of there and getting swiped by another car because they can't see. So I just don't want to just say, no, we're not going to do the study, and then tomorrow somebody get hit. So I think there has to be a direction. We just can't say we're not going to do anything. So hopefully a direction will be made that the larger trucks that are parking there cannot park there.
What I would suggest
And
then.
they can park right now in the municipal parking lot. Just because it's not lined, it doesn't mean that it's not open. We own the property. They can park there now. There's parking there.
I think what perhaps might resolve this issue, and I agree with you because I've seen the trucks parked there.
Yeah.
I think a conversation with the landlord, and in turn the landlord having a conversation with his tenants, say, don't park those trucks out on the shoulder of Route 6 where it's blocking, obstructing people's view, pulling in and pulling out. I think maybe that might resolve
Well,
this whole thing.
Kenny,
I
what-
think
what-
something has to be done because it's
agree
for
with
this,
you.
it's
I'm
for the
not-
safety. I'm not going to sleep at night knowing that we're not going to
What
do
I
something.
would recommend is perhaps either a letter from the supervisor, from the town board, or from the acting chief of police to the building owners on either sides, on both sides of the street, certified letter, just letting them know that we've found this to be an issue and a problem, and it was pointed out to us by the police department for traffic issues and traffic safety in town, and we'd like them to, address that with their tenants to the extent that if those trucks that are
It's a
parked there
police
are
initiative.
there in
Yeah.
fact.
One way or another, that's a police initiative.
I'm sorry?
It's a police initiative. If it's a road safety thing, so.
Yeah. So we could just send a letter out to them, and then this, it's tabled, we'll table it, and then we'll see where it goes. I mean, the fact that it's a study with DEP, with DOT, good luck with that. None of us will be here at that point. But, at least we can make a good faith effort to let those owners know what the intention, what the next step would be, and they can maybe cooperate with us in terms of getting their tenants or anybody that they see with those larger trucks there to move them to a different area.
Do we know if this condition caused any accidents? Do we know? Is there any reported accidents
I
that
don't believe
occurred?
so.
because of cars
At
parked?
this point, no, I don't believe so. Lieutenant Dearman may know the answer to that. I don't believe it has. Heck, I can even have a conversation with the landlord.
Well,
Just let him know that.
I'd make a motion to table it, study, why can't we do a police study? Have the officers, that are on patrol, check the area.
I'm fine with whatever the board does. But if you're intending to legislate there, you still need DOT's approval. That's the purpose of the study. The town doesn't have the authority to pass a local law that prohibits parking without the DOT's consent. That's why it's a two-step process anywhere, like we did on Restaurant Row here in the
Right.
past years. That's why it was going up there. But if you want to withdraw the motion and table it, that's fine.
The reason I suggested tabling it is to give the business owners there an opportunity to perhaps correct this themselves without having to go through that two-step process, Greg. So therefore, I'm making a motion to table, and Bob obviously
I'll second.
seconded it.
All right, so there's a motion to table. The resolution is a motion by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilman Channel. Roll call vote to table.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Well, it's going to pass anyways, so I'll say yes, but I'm not happy with it.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes to table. Thank you. Okay, so resolution number 3 is tabled.
And Kenny, can we send a letter out either
Number
from
4.
the supervisor's office or from the,
No, 4 is the tuition reimbursement.
Oh,
4 is
shoot.
tuition reimbursement.
Yep.
3 was the
Table.
table. I'm sorry?
I said tomorrow if we can have a letter sent out either by the supervisor's office or by the acting chief of police to those business owners, asking them to try to alleviate the problem with their tenants if those, and have those trucks not be there, and let them know what the next step potentially would be if it doesn't get resolved.
I'll speak to Lieutenant Dearman in the morning.
Yep.
And I'll have him get that letter out.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution approving application for tuition reimbursement, Town of Carmel Police Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 4, please?
Resolved that pursuant to the terms of the current Town of Carmel PBA contract, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby approves the application for tuition reimbursement of Town of Carmel Police Officer Arthur Klauskakowski for completion of his bachelor's degree at Pace University and authorizes payment in the amount of $900 in connection herewith. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Channel. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes, congratulations and keep going.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing purchase of equipment for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Channel, would you read Resolution 5, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes the purchase of a 2014 Wacker Newson RD 12A roller from Cricket Construction, Mahopac, New York, in an amount not to exceed $12,000, and be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make all budgetary transfers necessary to effect this authorization and purchase. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi, Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
yes,
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution authorizing budget modifications 2020/04. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 6, please?
Sure, whereas the Town Comptroller, Marion Maxwell, has reviewed the proposed final budget modifications for the period ending November 30th, 2020, with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision scheduled, number 2020/04. And now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the final budget modifications revisions for the period ending November 30th, 2020, as shown itemized on scheduled number 2020/04, which is attached here to, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
yes,
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution authorizing entry into contracts with Penflex, Inc. for Service Award Program Administration, Carmel Fire Protection Districts 1 and 2. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 7, please?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Fire Protection District 1 and 2, hereby authorizes entry into Service Award Program service agreements with Penflex, Inc., Latham, New York, for administrative services for the Fire Protection District Service Award programs in each district. And be it further resolved that such services shall be for a period of November 1, 2020 through and including October 31st, 2021, at an estimated cost of $6,900 for Fire Protection District Number 1 and $7,600 for Fire Protection Number 2, all as contained within the October 2020 proposal, which is attached here to and made part hereof. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all necessary documentation to effectuate the authorization as the terms set forth herein. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
yes,
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution acknowledging performance of emergency repairs and services for Carmel Water District Number 8. Councilman Borelli, would you read 8, please?
resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the various water and sewer districts of the Town of Carmel, hereby acknowledges the emergency performance of repair services for Carmel Water District Number 8 distribution system and treatment facilities, as fully detailed in the memoranda of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to the Town Board dated December 3rd, 2020, as attached hereto and made a part of thereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes,
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution accepting a proposal for purchase and installation of equipment for Lake Cassie Park District Clubhouse. Councilman Shano, would you read 9, please?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Lake Cassie Park District, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposal of Optima Oil and Propane, Mahopac, New York, for the purchase and installation of a new boiler, generator, and propane tank at the Lake Cassie Clubhouse at a cost not to exceed $17,300, and in accordance with the proposal date October 26, 2020, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the proposal of Optimum Oil and Propane, Mahopac, New York, for the purchase and installation of a new propane tank for the generator at a cost not to exceed $2,700, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts the proposal of Denetti Electric Corp., Mahopac, New York, for the installation of a new generator at the Lake Cassie Clubhouse at a cost not to exceed $11,250, in accordance with the proposal dated October 30th, 2020, be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution exercising option to extend contract for planning consulting services. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 10, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby exercises its option to extend the contract with Patrick Cleary of Cleary Consulting, Northport, New York, for the provision of planning consulting services to the Town of Carmel for a period of 1 year commencing January 1st, 2021, and concluding December 31st, 2021, at an annual sum not to exceed $60,000. And be further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form and content satisfactory to council, Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is authorized to execute a contract for said services and any other documentation necessary to accept the aforementioned proposal. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution authorizing borrowing for the Carmel Fire Department, Inc. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 11?
Whereas the Carmel Fire Department, Inc., a New York State not-for-profit corporation, provides firefighting services within the Carmel Fire Protection District within the jurisdictions of the Town of Carmel pursuant to an agreement between the town and the Carmel Fire District authorized pursuant to Section 184 of Town Law. And whereas the Carmel Fire Department is seeking to obtain a loan from the Bank of Greene County by an issuance of one or more notes on a tax-exempt basis in an aggregate amount not to exceed $5 million, the note, to finance the construction of an addition to the firehouse located at 94 Glen Ida Avenue, Carmel, New York, to be issued as an obligation, the interest on which shall be excluded from gross revenues for federal income tax purposes pursuant to Section 150E of the IRS Code of 1986, as amended, and whereas pursuant to Section 157F of the Code and 26 CFE 1.1147F-1, interest on the note will not be excluded from gross income for federal income tax purposes unless the issuance by the Carmel Fire Department shall be approved by the Town Board after a public hearing. And whereas pursuant to Section 157F of the Code and 26 CFE 1.147F-1, on the public notice consistent with those provisions, the Carmel Fire Department held a public hearing on November 24th with regard to such note. Now therefore be it resolved by the duly convened Town Board of the Town of Carmel that the Town Board approves the proposed tax-exempt note to be incurred by the Carmel Fire Department in the principal amount not to exceed $5 million to finance the addition, provided that the note shall be the obligation of the Carmel Fire Department, Inc., and not the town. And be it further resolved by the duly convened Town Board of the Town of Carmel that Ken Schmidt, Town Supervisor, is authorized to sign any required paperwork with respect to the town's approval of the note. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Channel. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon? Yes. Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Mike, keep up the good work up there, huh? Plans are still moving forward with respect to the addition, so. All right. When do you expect to break ground on it?
Hoping in the spring.
Spring?
Hoping in the spring, things are moving a little slower with the
Yeah.
COVID than we anticipated, so.
Okay. All right, great. We look forward to that. I'm sure you do too. Okay, thanks. Let us
Great.
know if you need anything.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, next item on the agenda, number 12, is an amended resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal for ultraviolet bulbs, ballast, and controllers, Carmel Sewer District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant. Councilman Borelli, would you read number 12, please?
Whereas Inframark LLC, operator of the Carmel Sewer District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant, and town engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., each have advised at the Town Board of Town of Carmel that certain components for the ultraviolet treatment systems within the microfiltration process of the Carmel Sewer District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant are in need of replacement. And whereas Inframark and the town engineer have each further advised the town board that the acquisition of the aforesaid equipment and ultraviolet bulbs are exempt from the New York City General Municipal Law as a sole source exception. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 2, hereby accept and adopt the recommendations of Inframark and the town engineer, and accordingly authorize the acquisition and installation, replacement ultraviolet bulbs, ballasts, and controllers for the Carmel Sewer District Number 2 wastewater treatment plant from Trojan Technologies, Ontario, California, at a cost not to exceed $35,813, in accordance with the proposal dated March 20th, 2020. And be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget revisions to effect the aforesaid purchase transactions authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi and Councilman Shannell. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 13, is a resolution authorizing commencement of litigation. Councilman Shannell, would you read 13, please? Resolved
That the town board of the town of Carmel, as commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 2, hereby authorizes town council Gregory L. Furchetti, 1875 Route 6, Carmel, New York, to commence all necessary litigation required for the purposes of acquiring any and all necessary property interests for the improvements proposed in the Carmel Water District Number 2 distribution system upgrades project, as well as in the Carmel Water District Number 2 treatment plant upgrade project. And be it further resolved that such authorization shall be deemed to include but not limited to performance of all necessary legal procedural requirements contained within New York eminent domain procedure law, as well as the commencement of legal proceedings thereunder in New York State Supreme Court if necessary. And be it further resolved that such services are hereby authorized at a rate of $205 per hour. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 14, is a resolution regarding notices of violations previously issued with respect to 825 South Lake Boulevard, Mahopac, New York. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 14, please?
Sure. Whereas Mr. Michael Borelli and the late Mr. Thomas A. Boniello, property owned the property located at 825 South Lake Boulevard during the period relevant to this resolution. And whereas Mr. Boniello passed away on May 27, 2020, and his interests in the property have become or shall become a part of the estate of Mr. Boniello to be transferred either via probate or administration. And whereas the November 8, 1991 agreement for sewer service between Carmel Sewer District Number 1 and Michael A. Borelli and Thomas A. Boniello, which was executed by and agreed to by the property owners and approved by the town board, permitted the property owners to connect the property to Sewer District Number 1 if they obtained all necessary permits and approvals from the New York State DOT, DEC, and New York City DEP for the aforesaid connection to the Carmel Sewer, hereinafter 1991 agreement for sewer service. And whereas on October 24, 2019, the town engineer issued the property owners the first notification of violation pursuant to Section 120-82 of the Code of the Town of Carmel, in order to cease and desist pursuant to Section 120-86A of the Town Code, which found in part the property was connected to Sewer District Number 1 in violation of Section 120-14 of the Town Code, which states that the use of the town public sewers shall be strictly limited and restricted, except as provided in Section 120-13, and that the property owner represented to the town supervisor that on September 4th, 2019, the connection to the sewer district number 1 was activated. And whereas on December 18th, 2019, the town engineer issued a second notification of violation in order to cease and desist, finding that the property owners had connected to sewer district number 1, not in the MCP 97 Clark Place manhole, as conditionally approved by the town of Carmel, but rather through a second previously undisclosed location within the sewer main, somewhere between the MCP 97 Clark Place manhole and the downstream MCP 96, at a point in time when the property owners had not obtained all regulatory approvals to connect to sewer district number 1. And whereas on March 10th, 2020, the property owners conducted various activities, including a successful pressure test of the sewer line originating at the property, and reconfigured the line so that it entered sewer district number 1 at property to the MCP 97 Clark Place manhole, and completed the closure of the second connection, all under observation by the town engineer and representatives of other interested agencies. And whereas the New York City Department of Environmental Protection thereafter approved the out-of-district connection of the property to sewer district number 1 as set forth in a certain letter dated April 6, 2020 to the town engineer, and by execution of a sewer use agreement between the property owners and New York City DEP dated June 12, 2020, and thereafter provided to the town proof of all regulatory approvals, including Putnam County Department of Health and New York State DOT. Whereas with the aforementioned approvals by the New York City DEP on or after April 6, 2020, the property owners have obtained the regulatory approvals necessary to meet the conditions set forth in the 1991 agreement for sewer service. And whereas NYC DEP advised the town that its primary objective in this matter was to obtain the full regulatory compliance and approval of the connecting line from the property to sewer district number 1, and that the town of Carmel, in coordinating and concluding such regulatory review and approval, has substantially complied with the certain agreement dated September 9, 1938, as amended, and has been advised by the New York City DEP that no further proceedings related to the foregoing will ensue. And whereas, pursuant to Town Law Section 135, the violation of the sewer use law subjects a property owner to civil penalty. And whereas, absent an agreement, the sewer code provides for an adjudicatory hearing to determine the violations of the sewer use law committed and amount of such penalty, the time and cost of which is obviated by such an agreement. And whereas the property owners have agreed to pay the amount set forth below in resolution of any amount for which they would be liable to the town without the need for further proceedings. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby approves the settlement of liability with the property owners upon 1, payment by the property owners to the town, a total civil fine of $105,000, and 2, exchange of mutual releases of liability, including but not limited to the release of all property owners and present and past town officers, employees, and agents for all claims related to the subject matter set forth in the aforesaid notices of violations and orders to cease and desist. And be further resolved that a foregoing settlement is subject to the timely execution by the property owners of a definite agreement reflecting these terms and in form acceptable to the town special counsel, Cozen O'Connor, and execution by an authorized officer of the town, as well as collection of funds in the amount provided above and subject to applicable provisions of the sewer use law. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Channel?
Yes, yes.
Councilman Borelli?
As much as I would love to vote yes on this, I've been advised by attorneys to abstain. I have a very short statement at the end of the meeting.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carried. It was 4 yes and 1 abstention. Okay, next resolution, number 15, is an amended resolution accepting a proposal for the professional services East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Studies R 2020-007, Lakeview Road. Councilman Lombardi, would you read 15, please?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously received approval from New York from New England Interstate Water Pollution Control Commission, New York City Department of Environmental Protection grants for the East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Assistance Grant Program, including a grant in the Lakeview Road area of the town of Carmel in the amount of up to $300,000. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposal of Artis Engineering of Highland Ranch, Colorado, to perform the Lakeview Road study in accordance with the above grant program in an amount not to exceed $183,800. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all further documentation necessary to accept said proposal. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes. Motion carried. Okay, the 16th and final resolution is an amended resolution accepting a proposal for professional services, East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Studies, R 2020-007 for Lake Gilead. Councilman Borelli, would you read 16, please?
Whereas the Town of Carmel has previously received approval for the New England Interstate Water Pollution Control Commission / New York City Department of Environmental Waste grants for the East of Hudson Community Wastewater Planning Assistance Grant Program, including a grant the Lake Gilead area of the Town of Carmel in the amount up to $375,000. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby accepts the proposal of Arcadius Engineering, Highland Ranch, CO, to perform the Lake Gilead study in accordance with the above grant in an amount not to exceed $206,000. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any other and further documentation necessary to accept such proposal. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Channel. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. So that completes the Town Board voting meeting agenda for this evening's meeting. We will not be meeting back here again for a Town Board meeting until January 6th of 2021. So Wednesday, January 6th, it's for the town reorganizational meeting, our annual meeting on the 6th. So at this time, I'm going to open up the floor to any public comment on agenda items only at this time. Come on up if you'd like to speak. Okay, is there anyone here for new business, the open forum portion of the meeting? Come on up at this time. Okay, there being none, town board members, Mike, I know you mentioned that you wanted to make an announcement
Yep.
at the end of the meeting.
Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. After an horrific year of COVID and the loss of my partner of 40 years and several close friends, I have made a decision and agreed to compromise so as not to waste another $50,000 to $100,000 in lawyers and put my family and Tommy's family at ease. But certain facts are facts. The Department of Transportation did not penalize us one penny. The Department of Environmental Conservation did not penalize us one penny. The Department of Environmental Protection did not penalize us one penny. The Putnam County Board of Health did fine us $350. After we cleaned all of this up, on Saturday, August 22nd, I went and asked the supervisor at the front steps of his home, what else is there? What do I have to do to end this nightmare? Kenny says, you got to pay a fine. So we went back and forth with only words that friends can use with each other. I finally said to him, since my partner is dead several months, that I will donate $25,000 to St. John's Food Pantry. I will also donate $25,000 to St. James Food Pantry, but not $1 to your lawyer's bill. After silence for a couple of months, I found out that there was a sheriff's investigation on me for theft of services. And who knows how much taxpayer money was still being spent on a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania law firm to investigate two well-known, Tommy was here his whole life, I'm here 45 years, residents. So with that, I agreed on settling. At least the taxpayers get something back. But with that said, I truly believe that some members of this board and past boards have selectively prosecuted me based on personal animosity. You guys can be the judge. You're smart people in this town. Just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a healthy, Happy New Year. And if Santa gets my wish, he's going to take Dave McKay Wilson back to the North Pole with him. Thank you.
God bless you, Annie.
Bless you, Ann. Okay, thanks, Mike. Any board members have any?
I have one announcement.
Go ahead.
I found out today that a longtime 34-year member of the New York Police Department, who was a 9-year member of the National Guard and a local resident and an old scout leader of mine, passed away Saturday, Robert Kuhn. Mr. Kuhn was like I said, he was a 34-year member of the NYPD. He was very, very active in Troop 145, which was in the Bronx. He emceed every single event. He taught gun safety, camping skills to generations of young men who are now my age and older. When I found out that he passed away, his granddaughter messaged me, and she said, "I'm sorry for you." I said, well, he was a great man. He served his community well. When he moved up to our neck of the woods, he started a Boy Scout troop with 4 kids, which is now lasting and multiplied. The skills that he taught and the dedication that a gentleman like Mr. Kuhn had, we will always remember. And he was a great man, and I just wanted to acknowledge him for the life of service that he led, for both being an NYPD officer, a National Guardsman, and a scout leader for many, many young men.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Condolences.
Bob?
I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas coming up. Just, remember, COVID's still real, it's still out there. Don't let your guards down. We know that there's shots for it now, the
vaccination.
vaccinations. Don't let your guards down. If you're going to get together with people outside your immediate family, probably best to get tested before you gather. Wear your mask and, be safe. And hopefully, next year is going to bring a healthier year for us. And I wish everybody a happy new year. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Susie?
yeah, I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and to be safe, and much love and happiness for 2021.
Okay, great. And I echo everybody else's sentiments here tonight. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to everyone, and let's hope for a happy New Year, 2021. Put 2020 behind us, and let's move forward. God only hopes that there's going to be improvement from here going forward with the vaccine, as Bob stated. And also, keep in mind your local businesses. Ladies and gentlemen at home, if you're watching, and whoever will be watching this tape, let's please try to patronize our local shops, our local mom and pop shops. They're hurting right now tremendously because due to COVID. And our restaurants, same thing. Please try to patronize our local restaurants. You could still go there and eat dinner inside, indoors for the time being. Let's hope it stays that way. And they have takeout, and also you can, those who brave the elements, you could probably still eat outdoors as well. But please help the local restaurants and our local businesses get through this pandemic. And let's all get through this year and hope for a much, much better improvement for 2021. I hate to say it can't get any worse, but let's hope it doesn't. So.
And more importantly, be prepared and safe for this upcoming storm.
Yes,
storm
tomorrow. We're expected anywhere between 8 and I believe 16 inches of snow, starting tomorrow afternoon, which is Wednesday, and going into Thursday evening or late Thursday morning. So be careful out there. Please do not park your cars on the street because snow removal will be taking place, and if your car is parked on the road, the plow isn't going to be able to clean your road. They're going to have to go around your car and then come back later on. So let's please save everybody time. Keep everybody safe. Park your cars in your driveway during the snow events. There is a law in the town of Carmel, in the town code, November 15th through April 15th, about parking on the roadways. If a police officer sees your car parked on a road during the evening hours, you could be ticketed. So please, let's help our highway department clean the roads effectively by removing your car. And also keep your cars locked at night. We're getting cars that are still being entered during the nighttime hours. People are not locking their cars. I'm hearing more and more about people whose cars, where they call it broken into, it's really not broken into. If you leave your car unlocked, your car is subject to be rummaged through by somebody looking for valuables. So if the doors are locked, more than likely they're not going to break your window to gain entry to the car. So lock your cars, keep your valuables inside, don't leave anything of any valuable in your cars. But let's all start locking our cars at night, all right? We'd like to think that we live in Mahopac of 25, 30, 40 years ago. Truth is we don't, and things like this do happen occasionally, and we're seeing it more and more. So, ladies and gentlemen, please lock your cars at night, protect your valuables. So again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. We'll see you on January 6th for a town board reorganization meeting. I need a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Be
night.
well. We'll see you soon.
Happy New Year.